Today, we got Mark Zuckerberg flipped his stance on censorship and he went on Rogan to talk about it all. Then Trudeau resigned. And if you haven't seen the video, we'll show you. And the Liberals are scrambling for who's going to be the next party leader. Next, we got Trump sentenced to an unconditional discharge. Also, there were some awkward moments during the Jimmy Carter funeral service. And after that, we got a story in People's Magazine. A woman threatened to cut off ties with her mother-in-law. And after all of that, stay tuned for Off Topic. We'll talk about all the trendy stuff. And if you haven't done so already, go like and subscribe and go follow us on Instagram at TheBiringPodcast. So let's start with Mark Zuckerberg. Here's a clip of him on Rogan talking about how Meta was censoring content over the last few years or so.
People started pushing for like ideological based censorship. And I think it was two main events that really triggered this. In 2016, there was the election of President Trump, also coincided with basically Brexit in the EU and sort of the fragmentation of the EU. And then, in 2020, there was COVID. And I think that those were basically these two events where for the first time, we just faced this massive, massive institutional pressure to basically start censoring content on ideological grounds. I think in 2016, in the aftermath, I gave too much deference to a lot of folks in the media who were basically saying, okay, there's no way that this guy could have gotten elected except for misinformation. People can't actually believe this stuff, right? It has to be that there's this kind of like massive misinformation out there. Some of it started with the Russia collusion stuff, but it kind of morphed into different things over time. What was it? I was really worried from the beginning about basically becoming this sort of decider of what is true in the world, right? That's like kind of a crazy position to be in for billions of people using your service. And so we tried to put in place a system that would deal with it. And early on tried to basically make it so that it was really limited. We're like, all right, we're just going to have the system where there's these third-party fact checkers and they can check the worst of the worst stuff, right? So we put in place the system and it just sort of veered from there. I think to some degree, it's because some of the people whose job is to do fact checking, a lot of their industry is focused on political fact checking. So they just kind of veered in that direction. We kept on trying to basically get it to be what we had originally intended, which is just, it's not, the point isn't to like judge people's opinions. It's to provide in this layer to kind of help fact check some of the stuff that seems.
So basically Mark Zuckerberg said that in line with what he's going to start censoring on Facebook. So they're going to replace fact checkers with community notes, simplifying content policies, new approach to policy enforcement. They're going to bring back civic content. They're going to move the trust and safety and content moderation teams from California to Texas and protect free speech worldwide.
Okay.
So to me, I feel like a little bit of this was, I feel like the presidency has changed, right? And he's kind of a little bit trying to cover his own ass.
For sure.
Right? Isn't that what it feels like to you guys?
It's pretty coincidental. You got Trump coming into power and his whole he's shifted like his whole stance on this censorship issue.
He kind of went on, like he's going on to say that they were, they don't want to judge people's opinions.
Yeah.
Right? They're just trying to fact check. Mm-hmm. And it went a little bit out of control. And their new approach to, I guess, when he's saying he wants to simplify content policies, I think they're saying that they want to add the community notes and stuff like that. So they're going off of what X is doing.
Yeah.
But I feel like even saying that, he's kind of like not putting the onus on himself whatsoever.
That's what I was,
Which is weird.
He's not taking any onus. He's just blaming it on the fact checkers that he had hired or whatever.
Right?
Like, why not own up to it?
Financially driven. Like, even moving the people out of California, I feel like that's why I feel like he's trying to save money.
You think it's a money thing?
I think it's a money thing.
I think with this guy, it's always a money thing.
Yeah. There's a reason why he's worth, what, $200 some odd billion, right?
Yeah.
But I also think it's a political thing because California is very left and Texas is right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if the administration is now right, you're going to move there. Right. And before he was doing whatever the left said, now he's doing whatever the right says, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't agree. I do agree with everything that he's saying. I think you should be doing these things. I think you should not try to, not make, the algorithms kind of make people self-censor, right? And
sure.
I think
it forces you to.
Yeah, and it kind of makes it so you can't talk about politics. Why not? What's wrong with talking about politics, right? So, but I feel like what he's doing is he was extremely concerned, right? Because he saw what happened with TikTok, right?
Yeah.
And he knew that, I think he knew that Elon was already in Trump's corner, right? So he already has that. He's a competitor of his, right? With X, even though this guy's being complimentary now.
Yeah.
And then right away, I think he was one of the first ones. I think Sundar Pichai went down to Mar-a-Lago. So did Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Everyone contributed to Trump's inauguration,
Yeah.
right? So you gotta. It's not about just kissing the ring, but you if that's a way that the next 4 or maybe 8 years, if somebody from the right wins after Trump leaves office, right? Like if that's the way it's going to go, as one of the biggest businesses in the world, you got to do that.
For sure.
Right?
You're seeing all of these like billionaires or big companies, they're falling into line a little bit, right? And you kind of have to. There's a shift in the power, right? It's becoming right wing now. But my thing with this guy is, even when he's talking, I guess, if you guys know his history with Facebook, we all do.
Yeah.
Like how the lawsuit it comes off as pretty genuine. Like even when I don't know if do you guys fall for it? Like to me, he always comes off genuine.
I don't know.
I feel like that's why he got away with it the first time too. He got it over on his partners there too with the Facebook stuff.
You think so? He comes off as kind of robotic to me.
Really?
Like he just.
I don't know. He's just this nerdy little guy. I just believe what he's saying.
I mean, I don't know if that
He sounds really smart, so it's believable what he's saying.
I'm not saying he's not a smart person,
Yeah.
but obviously he has a motive to make money, right? And he has one of the biggest companies in the world, right? So it's definitely, and this protect free speech worldwide stuff. If you listen to his whole post that Simmer was talking about, where he laid out these 6 new changes to the algorithm.
Yeah.
He says Meta alongside Donald Trump, right, to stop countries that are basically censoring things. And I think he touched base on South America and stuff like that. Even in Canada, right, with that bill that they passed here.
C-18.
Yeah.
C-18, I think.
I can't remember exactly what the bill was.
Yeah.
Maybe you could Google that. But it basically, I think Google paid money to continue running.
Yeah.
Right. And not continue running, but I think
Bill
to
C-18.
C-18, yeah.
C-18.
So you had to pay to...
And to my...
Have news and stuff.
to have news. And I don't think Meta did.
They didn't.
Right?
If you go on Meta or Instagram in Canada and you try to search any news, you're not allowed to.
You can't.
You won't
Even
see
CP24.
You won't see CBC, CNN. You won't see any of it.
Yeah.
Right? So I think even this protecting free speech thing, I think it's a capitalism play.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's trying to be like, hey, listen, I don't want to pay that money to get them, right?
Yeah.
I don't agree with the C-18 bill anyways, but to me, I think it's not coming from a place where you're saying that he comes off as genuine. I think, no. I always think, like, what does somebody else have to gain, right? What does he have to gain here? Money. He doesn't want to pay the bill.
I'm just saying, like, as a viewer of, like, I watched majority of the podcast, the Rogan one. I don't know. He seems pretty believable the further along you go. Like, when he's talking.
No, but for sure, his demeanor and stuff I feel like seems believable to me, but the one thing that's unbelievable about this guy is that if you're going to be left, right, when Trump first got elected, he was saying that that's when this whole thing started, right, and then while he got elected, this guy was still left. Why? Because we just came out of, what was that, Obama, right? And then Trump gets elected, 16. Right, and then so you just came out of a left presidency, right? And then Trump gets elected and they're not fully used to it and they think he's gonna go away. Remember all the impeachment stuff that was going on? So it was heavy in the media and stuff. So it's very easy to be like, just blame all of that on the media, right? A little bit, you have to put that pressure on yourself. Be like, hey, listen, man, like I kind of messed up. He said like I wasn't ready for it, but he didn't say like I messed up and I shouldn't, right? So he's very careful with those things, right? So to me, I feel like whenever somebody's has a lot of money to gain or to lose, you can't fully just think that they're just genuine with their thoughts and ideas. There's always money behind it, right?
Yeah.
But I think we have another clip of him talking about COVID and the Biden administration specifically.
The other big one, where the Supreme Court has this clear precedent. It's like, all right, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. There are times when if there's an emergency, your ability to speak can temporarily be curtailed in order to get an emergency under control. So I was sympathetic to that at the beginning of COVID. It seemed like, okay, you have this virus. It seems like it's killing a lot of people. I don't know, like we didn't know at the time how dangerous it was going to be. So at the beginning, it kind of seemed like, okay, we should give a little bit of deference to the government and the health authorities on how we should play this. But when it went from 2 weeks to flatten the curve to and like in the beginning it was like, okay, there aren't enough masks aren't that important, to then it's like, oh no, you have to wear a mask, and like everything was shifting around. It just became very difficult to kind of follow, and this really hit the most extreme, I'd say, during the Biden administration, when they were trying to roll out the vaccine program. And I'm generally like pretty pro rolling out vaccines. I think on balance the vaccines are more positive than negative, but I think that while they're trying to push that program, they also tried to censor anyone who was basically arguing against it. And they pushed us super hard to take down things that were true, right? I mean, they basically pushed us and said, anything that says that vaccines might have side effects, you basically need to take down. And I was just like, well, we're not going to do that. Like, we're clearly not going to do that. I mean, that is kind of inarguably true.
Who is they? Who's telling you to take down things that,
it was
that talk about vaccine side effects?
It was people in the Biden administration. I think it was, I wasn't involved in those conversations directly, but I think it was...
How difficult is that to not be involved in those conversations directly? It's got to be strange too, right? Because you're running the company, but there's clearly, you're moderating at scale that's beyond the imagination. The number of human beings you're moderating is fucking insane. Like, what's a Facebook... how many people use it on a daily basis? Forget about how many overall. Like, how many people use it regularly?
It's 3.2 billion people use one of our services every day. It's wild.
More than a third of the planet. That's so crazy.
Yeah, and it's
almost half of Earth.
Well, on a monthly basis,
He's
it
so
is.
proud.
But
so
he said daily?
I want to say that though. There's a lot of like hypercritical people that are conspiracy
3.2
theorists and think that everybody's a part of some cabal to control.
The interactions that I was just referring to, I mean, a lot of this is documented. I mean, because Jim Jordan and the House had this whole investigation and committee into the kind of government censorship around stuff like this. And we produced all these documents, and it's all in the public domain. I mean, basically, these people from the Biden administration would call up our team and like scream at them and curse, and it's like these documents it's all kind of out there.
Did you record any of those phone calls?
I don't think we. But I think I want to listen. I mean, there are emails. The emails are published. It's all kind of out there, and they're like. And basically, it just got to this point where we were like, no, we're not gonna take down things that are true. That's ridiculous.
Crazy. So he's blaming this thing on COVID and the election, basically. Why he was forced to censor.
Well, one thing that despite what I said before, one thing that you can kind of have a little bit of sympathy for there is hard to be like, just because you have like this massive media company that everyone displays their information
that
on.
number was crazy.
Yeah, but it's hard to be the arbiter of truth, like he's talking about, right? Like you can't just be like, yeah, I decide what's true and what's not.
Yeah.
Right? But then on the flip side of it, when you have, if the Biden administration or anyone from the government is coming to challenge you and be like, you got to take these couple of things down.
Yeah.
I can understand that there could be a lot of jargon there, but if you're a social media company, can't you just put that out there? Like, this is what they're being asked. This is what they're asking us to do. Right, like what exactly is going on, right? Like
he's saying it's documented in the law,
and they're all published emails, right?
Yeah.
But like that's easy to say once the presidency changes, right? And somebody else is coming into power, right?
The timing of it.
Yeah, the timing of it is weird to say the least, right?
But yeah, in his defense, like that many people daily, 3.2 billion, managing that on a large scale and getting it correct is probably pretty hard.
For sure. I mean, okay, like let's stop judging the guy, but like what he was saying, he's replacing fact checkers with community notes. He's simplifying content policy, new approach to policy enforcement, bringing back civic content, and then using the moderation stuff, right? So if you look at all of that, he's just advocating free speech a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But like I agree with all of those things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like I don't think any of those things are bad for content creators, right? Sure. Or even for free speech and having your word out there, right? Like civic content is huge. Everyone talks about politics these days. Who doesn't? We talk about it every single week. Right?
It seems like none of these platforms want you to either.
And why shouldn't you be able to?
Yeah.
Right? Because your opinions might sway one audience or the other.
But that's okay if they agree with you. What's wrong?
The things you're saying are completely false. I think that's where it stems from trying to do fact checking.
Yeah, but isn't
that part of free speech? You can say things that are false, and then it's up to the public to discern. Like, is this guy saying the right thing or not? Like, do your own research.
For sure.
I think I remember when I read it somewhere when what's that meeting that happens in Davos every year? Their main concern was misinformation and disinformation. It's been this campaign that's where we're headed because of social media, that there's going to be a lot of misinformation out there. So I get the concern behind it, but what happens while that's going on is like you're going to lose a lot of genuine people who are just sharing ideas and opinions. And even if they're wrong, they learn from sharing, right?
Yeah.
And if you have things like community notes, like they're saying, then people will fact check you. And that's fine. Even in a long form podcast, right? Like what you're going to get is comments.
Yeah.
And people are going to agree, they're going to disagree. We say it all the time in our podcast, right?
Yeah.
If you agree or disagree with us, leave a comment, right?
Say something. Yeah.
Yeah, say something, whatever you want, right? But I feel like it is a step in the right direction. I feel like X was already there. And I think Elon did say they wanted to moderate the content a little more because of the negative content on there. But X was already there. If Instagram's there, YouTube's already usually pretty good with this kind of stuff. But I'm guessing they were in a similar situation because a lot of channels got taken down during the whole COVID thing, right? So, I mean, it was definitely a weird spot, but I think social media in general is heading into a good direction.
A better direction.
Right.
Less censorship's always good. It's good news for us. Good news for anybody who wants to pursue their own truth, whatever it is, right?
Yeah. But then also with these TikTok bans and stuff that we've been talking about.
I think it's going to go back and forth.
It is,
like
right?
what you're saying, like with Elon Musk now, he's adding restrictions, no?
And not adding restrictions.
He's saying it's the violence.
He wants to promote positive content over negative.
But how can he judge that?
Right.
How can he judge what's positive
Exactly.
and what's
That's
not?
the hard thing.
Yeah. So it is.
Yeah, it's still some sort of content moderation.
Even he was saying, like, if you put like AI in place to get rid of, sometimes they try to get rid of bots or whatever, right? He's like, where do you set the threshold?
Right.
You set it at 90%. That means 10% of the time you're gonna get rid of an account that is a person that was not using.
That was deemed a bot or whatever.
Yeah, and they were using it properly. They weren't.
So where do you fall on that? What do you think? You think it's better to let a lot of more
speech?
Yeah, more free speech, or do you think it's better to not let many negative or opinions get through?
Because there's negatives and positives to both sides.
I think I'm okay with more negative and not hindering free speech. I think I always stand on that.
Yeah, because I think you need to have these conversations amongst yourselves, amongst your families, amongst your kids and friends, right? And whatever's important to you, you fact check each other all the time, right? I feel like even you guys remember before even Googling things, people would just say shit, and half the time they'd be lying, right? And now if you're lying, someone would be like, "Hold on,
you're wrong."
And now they don't even need to do that. Right? With ChatGPT, you can do. So like, I mean, honestly, I feel like with this AI generation where we're headed, I think it's important to be free speech should be up there.
Yeah.
Right? Like I don't think you should sacrifice free speech because somebody else gets to moderate what is good and true in the world.
Obviously extreme cases, even he says in the podcast, I think nobody would agree with those.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Right.
But like I'm always against censorship.
It's also hard though, like you were saying, right? 3 billion people. How do you sit there and moderate 3 billion?
Easy to say or
posts
judge,
a day?
but like imagine doing that. The number of people involved.
Right.
Yeah, and how do you implement like free speech on your platforms?
Well, it's the algorithms, right? You're just gonna change it. Right. You're gonna allow, like right now, if they have policies that don't let you talk about politics, right? If they just change your algorithm a little bit and they make it so you can, then more of that gets through, right? Please like and subscribe, as it really does help the podcast out tremendously. Now let's get back to the pod. But yeah, so let's move on to Trudeau and the Liberals. Here's a video for anyone who hasn't seen it. Justin Trudeau saying he's going to resign.
I've had a chance to reflect and have had long talks with my family about our future. Throughout the course of my career, any success I have personally achieved has been because of their support and with their encouragement. So last night over dinner, I told my kids about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process. Last night, I asked the President of the Liberal Party to begin that process. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election.
So the Liberals are planning to announce a new party leader on March 9th. And the party is raising the entry fee for a potential candidate to $350,000. And candidates must announce their intention to run and submit the entry fee by January 23rd.
Okay.
That's a substantial jump, right? Like,
Yeah, I think
like
it was
double.
75,000
Yeah,
before.
75,000 for wait.
Inflation, right?
That's like a big jump.
Yeah. That interview didn't get off to that hot of a start. Did you guys see?
No.
In the beginning?
Then no flying away.
Yeah, I think we have a clip of it. Oh my god.
Oh, so you think he just winged it?
I think he had to have winged it.
Oh shit!
Like if things aren't bad enough, this guy has no idea.
Is this his house that they set these
Yeah, it's
volumes
his
up in front
house.
of?
I think it's outside his house.
Why didn't
But
somebody
even as
just
he's walking up, half of his,
why didn't somebody just bring them back to him?
I don't know. He figured it out. He was alright.
Yeah.
You know what I think is so hard though about like these public announcements that the prime minister has to do? Like he says it in English.
Yeah, and
He has to
then
say the whole thing over again in
Yeah.
French.
Yeah, especially if you're like emotional.
Yeah.
then you got to say it all over again.
I think though that he feels more comfortable speaking in French. So to him, it would be like it wouldn't be as difficult.
Right.
Yeah.
Just how I've seen him speak, it seems like he natively.
Well, he's
speaks
from
that.
Montreal, no?
Is he?
Quebec? I don't know.
Yeah. So what you just said,
I feel like he is.
right?
I don't know. He speaks French pretty fluent.
I feel like okay, so this guy resigning is the Canadians have been asking for an election for a while now,
Yeah.
right? And him resigning doesn't guarantee that you're getting an election. It just
Yeah.
means that the Liberals.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Close enough.
They speak French there.
Yeah, close enough. to
Speak French everywhere. In
Yeah.
Okay.
And his joke about Ontario, don't worry, we know. You
Yeah.
Remember he made that joke during
Yeah.
the talk.
Yeah, about
Yeah.
what did he say?
People in Ontario not knowing French.
Oh, right.
It was Toronto. It was Toronto.
Toronto
Big-
specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I feel like at this point, everyone knew he was going to resign.
Yeah.
Right? Like, who didn't know he was going to resign?
Well, he didn't want to. I feel like he was finding it for a while.
I feel like normally, whenever like most politicians understand that no matter what you do, half the country's going to hate you.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a hard thing, I think, for most people to understand because you like to go about your day thinking that you're always doing the right thing. Right. And
Yeah.
if a lot of people hate you, no matter what you do,
Yeah.
it's hard. Right. But on the flip side, it wasn't half the country. We've been talking about approval ratings for how long now? 70% of the country, right? More than 2/3 of the country didn't
He's
want
also
this guy as
been
a leader, right?
He's been in office for almost a decade now.
Yeah, 9 years.
Eventually-
Very, very long time. Yeah, country's going to want to change. It's too long.
Yeah.
Right. And then with all the policies he's been, so nobody feels bad. Nobody,
I felt bad.
Why'd you?
I was gonna say I felt bad.
Why?
No, I was just thinking like on a human level.
Yeah, yeah.
right?
When he talked about his like kind of mental health,
Going through so much
Yeah.
in his personal
No.
life.
Yeah, right. His personal life. This guy went through a very public divorce.
it's not even a divorce. They're just separated.
They're just separated.
Yeah.
Isn't she with the trainer or whatever?
Oh, I didn't.
Am I making that up too?
No, I
Yeah.
heard that too.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. Okay, we're not sure.
Maybe.
But I think I heard that from you.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, this could be fake news. Go check it.
Okay. Either way, he's just on a human level, right? If one of us was going through that, or anyone, you know, right? Just a divorce, just going back to your 9 to 5. That's not a whatever, right?
Yeah, but
But on top of that, so many
top of that, you
people
gotta-
hate you.
Already.
Imagine
Before
every
that.
day walking out of your house, someone's swearing at you.
F you,
People
yeah.
say
Like,
stuff to him when
all
he's
the
with his kids.
Yeah.
okay, but
a
the
lot.
flip side is it's a part of the job, right?
100%.
You signed up to lead a country, right? And you led that country to shit, right?
No,
Like
100%.
legit.
I agree. I'm just saying,
Right?
like you're like, nobody feels bad for him. I still feel bad for him.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm giving the other side of the argument, right? Like
Yeah.
he could be as human as he wants to, right? Like that's fine if it's in your house
Yeah.
and you don't want to go to work because you're going through a messy divorce or something's happening. Cool,
Yeah.
right? But if I choose to run the country, right? I think it's my responsibility then to care about the country's citizens,
Yeah.
right? Which he thinks that he's doing, right? But if you keep putting he's carbon tax, right? During a time when inflation is through the roof, Canadians can't afford anything, right? He's puts these little policies in place. What was that? The capital gains tax. It's just one after the other after the other. Those are all there because he's overspent to begin with. You have a $60 billion deficit, right? And now those people, right? You want to feel bad for him. There's also people that are losing their houses, losing their jobs. They can't afford gas. They can't afford heat, right? They're downsizing their homes, right? Trying to get by. No, that's what I'm saying. Those people hate.
I mean, it's not like I'm not his number one fan.
Get it.
Right?
But I also think like it wasn't just him, right? All these people that advised him to do these things, like how come they should all step down too? His whole like little.
Well, they kind of started.
Well, yeah,
they're losing their seats.
Yeah, I mean, who's gonna? And then these liberal MPs that come out, right? And they're just like, yeah, Justin Trudeau must resign, right? Like they're saying that a couple of weeks. Like, no shit, right? Like, why would you be saying that? Because if the Conservatives are polling so high, whose jobs are going to get lost? Liberals.
Yours.
Exactly.
They're taking those seats, right? Especially they're saying I think a liberal someone in Alberta's not going to vote left right now.
Yeah.
Right. So you're going to lose those seats. Right. So they're not saying it because, I don't know, to me, it doesn't seem like they care about the country. They're saying it to save their jobs.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
So like none of that, I don't know. You don't really respect any of that. Right. Look, these are merely our opinions based on our life experiences, knowledge, and research. Maybe you agree or disagree or simply want to be a part of the conversation. Leave a comment and let us know your thoughts. Now let's get back to the pod. I think we have a clip of Trump talking about Trudeau resigning.
Oh, okay.
I didn't think he was going to quit. He probably saw the numbers. Look, I called him Governor Trudeau because they should be the 51st state, really. It would make a great state. And the people of Canada like it. They'd pay lower taxes. They have virtually no military. They have a very small military. They pay less than 1%. They're about the lowest payer in NATO. They're supposed to pay much more. They haven't been paying. They have a lot of problems. And
per GDP,
I was with Wayne Gretzky. I said, Wayne, would you like to be the governor of Canada? I can't imagine anybody doing any better than Wayne. Wayne was not too interested. But I think he probably would have liked statehood.
Like Do you know
He's a friend of mine. He's a great guy.
Not that I know. I don't know.
He probably had like a few Canadians that are like just yes man in front of him. They're like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. And that's what he's referencing in this clip. But I think the majority of the population finds that disrespectful.
I think everyone does.
He's talking out of his ass.
Yeah, he's just...
Which he does a lot.
Yeah. To me, we've talked about this shit so much. Right? But like, I think Trudeau responded to...
Yeah, finally, publicly.
Right? Yeah, he had a bit of a backbone.
Like 3 weeks.
He made that one snowball tweet, and then he finally said something in real life.
Trump has been needling you a bit, calling you Governor Trudeau, talking about making Canada the 51st state. Did you have any interaction with him today?
No, not today. But that's not going to happen. Canadians are incredibly proud of being Canadian. One of the ways we define ourselves most easily is, well, we're not American. There is such a depth of pride that's not actually an issue. What I think is happening in this is President Trump, who's a very skillful negotiator, is getting people to be somewhat distracted by that conversation, to take away from the conversation around 25% tariffs on oil and gas and electricity and steel and aluminum and lumber and concrete, and everything the American consumers buy from Canada is suddenly going to get a lot more expensive if he moves forward on these tariffs. And that's something that I think we need to be focusing on a little bit more.
There you go, Justin.
Don't you think if he reacted like that before the resignation, he would have left with more respect?
The pressure's off.
The pressure's off, so he's talking like that, but he's also wrong. I don't think it's I don't think he's doing it because of tariffs. I think tariffs are also a part of that distraction, right?
Yeah.
I think he's doing it because now, like, I'm starting to see what he's negotiating here, right? Maybe he wants, like we said last week, like an EU style currency. Yeah. They want passports, ease of access to go back and forth.
Do you think he actually wants that, or he was just saying that because of what was happening back and forth?
It's beneficial to the states to do that, right? We have a lot of natural...
think that was always game plan?
I think it's all a negotiating tactic, just like he said too, right?
Yeah, if you're talking about business, right? If somebody's going to come into it, or maybe you're right. Maybe it wasn't always game plan. It fell into his lap and he's like,
let me try
with it. That's what I feel like. Like, when has someone ever called Canada like when has it ever wanted it to be a state?
Well, this is where people, I mean,
Have you ever heard a president say anything like that?
well, you see Putin taking over Russia, right?
Yeah,
you see
but
China talk
specifically
about
the states in
Taiwan,
Canada.
right? But states in Canada, they've been wanting to annex Canada how long? It's always been a thing. Why? Because Canada has an abundant amount of natural resources,
They
right?
just want to use.
So why wouldn't
our
they,
oil.
right? Even moving forward into the future, everything's moving AI, everything's moving to these quantum computing chips that we talked about like a month ago. All that is that Canada has a vast majority of land that we like to say is inhabitable,
Yeah.
right? But a lot of that land, you can build massive data centers,
Yeah.
right? You can build these plants to supply electricity, like Doug Ford keeps saying,
Yeah.
right? We laugh and joke about him, but he's not wrong,
Yeah.
right? So Canada can theoretically be the data center capital of the world.
Yeah.
Right. So if you look at all of that and you see somebody who's a massive consumer of all of that, which is the US, if you're president, you're not going to want to take advantage of that. And if you know, he said we're going to.
Center of the world, it's a big stretch. Like you go a little bit up north, and you can't even get Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but data centers are massive buildings,
You got
right? And like,
Elon's, what's it called?
Starlink.
Yeah, Starlink. You got that now.
no, I feel like I don't know. I feel like it's more so to get a better deal for themselves, right? I don't think this 25% tariff thing benefits anyone, right? Like even in the States, if you do it, go ahead, wait 3 months, wait a year, wait 2 years, right? His own public population is going to start saying, hey man, these things cost too much. We don't want this anymore.
So then isn't it annoying that he's saying that? Like these threats?
I think people forget like his first presidency, like he says so much
Outlandish
shit.
stuff.
He just
Said
says
this so many times.
Yeah, he
You
won't
keep
stop.
saying it.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's not gonna stop. I don't
He
think
put Wayne Gretzky into it. Like it is annoying.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
for what reason?
he's not gonna let it go. Even if Canada was to sign a new USMCA, I could just see this guy going like, we wanted to make you a 50 state, but we'll settle for this. Right?
Yeah. But it's starting to piss people off.
Yeah.
Like even the Mexican president, she was saying like this along the same things like about the Gulf of Mexico. Wasn't she?
Yeah, because he said
He's saying
call it
Gulf of
yeah.
to the Gulf of America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the completely different take is this Green Party leader who I feel like had the best response.
Our
Elizabeth
systems
May.
of
Yeah.
government are different. I don't want to belittle Mr. Trump, but on the other hand, hey, Donald, have we got a deal for you? You think we want to be the 51st state? Nah, but maybe California would like to be the 11th province. How about it? California,
Who's gonna buy you?
Oregon, Washington. You've got geography in common with us. And not only that, we've already got a carbon trading system between California and Quebec. We've got some strong alliances on our west coast from British Columbia. There's been a lot of academic papers on the idea of Cascadia.
How many seats does
So
the Green Party
California, Governor
one or two.
Newsom, and Washington State, Jay Inslee, and newly
What's
elected
her
Governor of Oregon,
whole-
Tina Kotek. How about it?
Okay, so what's her whole like? She's trying to say the blue states that take over.
Two.
Two.
They had two seats, right?
Yeah.
She goes on to say, "Oh, we got free healthcare for you and better gun laws." Like she's talking to Americans, they love their guns.
Depending on where you fall on the political.
Yeah, and she's just talking about California, Oregon, states that like generally are hardcore left wing. What are you trying to?
California, though, our population would grow exponentially.
Yeah, double.
That's one way to look at it, but Canada wouldn't be able to afford California.
Oh, 100%.
California has the same population as our whole country.
Yeah,
Right? So I don't think like when Trump says it, he's joking about it, but like Canada's not offering
more
to
and
buy
more
anything,
Trump says
right?
it, the more I feel like he's not joking. Like
What do you
it's too much.
Yeah, okay, but Polyev responded too, right? And Polyev was basically saying, I think we posted on Instagram about it. He was saying that I can say first and foremost, we will never be
Right.
51st state, right? So, I mean, all Canadians are kind of lockstep and barrel here, right? I don't know who the 8-10% who these people are who are like, yeah, we
where do
wanna
these
be a part
numbers
of it.
come from?
I don't know, right? I don't
I
know.
was saying.
Yeah.
Yes, man.
Yeah. Or Wayne Gretzky. Wayne hasn't said a thing. I haven't seen.
He's like, keep my name out your mouth.
Yeah. He's like, I golfed with a guy once and got off. But like, where do they stand now? What's next for these guys?
Who?
Basically, the government's prorogued, right? Up until
I mean, he's going to be prime minister until March 9th. The Liberals are going to pick their.
He even said he's like, I look forward to working with Mr. Trump for the next 2 months.
Right.
I think he'll do better in these 2 months. So it seems like the pressure's off. That's the first time he was on camera saying anything. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
So when the Liberals pick a leader, who's going to be prime minister?
Whoever they pick, right?
The
It's
leader
kind of
will just be prime minister
yeah.
without a vote from.
It's similar to kind of the Biden Kamala.
Google that really quickly. Yeah, I feel like what is going to happen is that you'll get a vote of no confidence and you'll get an election.
Well, Jagmeet owes it to Canadians to finally call a vote of no confidence.
He should have done this shit.
But it's about time. You can do it now.
But would the vote of no confidence be before a new
No.
Liberal
No.
Party leader?
No,
It's after.
after.
But what about in that interim period?
It's still Trudeau.
It's him right now up until the 9th.
Yeah.
They're going to pick somebody and then they can trigger a no vote.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, at this point,
I think Jolly already said no. She's not going to run. Who's it boiling down to? It's going to be Carney, Freeland, and LeBlanc?
I think so. Yeah.
Great choices, right?
What's going to be weird is Freeland's that can't win that. No? You think Freeland can win that? I think it's going to be Carney or LeBlanc.
I was being insanely sarcastic.
No, I know you.
Why do you think she can't win?
I mean, everyone's pissed off about the budget, right? And who's the finance minister? Her.
Yeah.
Right? Like, she's the one that's been spending all this money. So
I don't even know why she would elect to run for it.
Let's just say if the deficit somehow came under 40 billion, right? You think there would have been this chaos? No, Trudeau still would have been Liberal leader, and
Probably would have ran in the
so the person who was in charge of that, right? It's like if your accountant goes, "Yeah, man, you're in debt like 20 billion more than like," and you'd be like, "What?"
Yeah,
this is a great accountant.
I'm just gonna keep this guy. He knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, let's just move on to this whole Trump hush money trial. According to a Reuters article, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump will not go to jail or face any other punishment for his criminal convictions stemming from hush money paid to porn star. A judge ruled on Friday, but said Trump's January 20th inauguration would not erase the jury verdict. Justice Juan Merchan's sentencing of Trump 78 to unconditional discharge places a judgment of guilt on his record and closes a case that had loomed over Trump's bid to retake the White House. Trump will be the first president to take office with a felony criminal conviction.
So Trump basically said, like he's always been saying, that this is politically motivated. It's just to tarnish his reputation, essentially. It was pretty close vote to not overturn it. It was like 5-4, I think, in the Supreme Court. But yeah, he's going to go down as the first president to be a felon, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think after the trial, he was like, this has been a very terrible experience. I'm totally innocent. I did nothing wrong.
Well,
I mean, it depends, right? Like, allegedly, Stormy Daniels said that she got paid. I mean, I think this thing happened in 2006, right? And then I think Trump still denies it. And then, but the whole thing was that his lawyer, I believe,
that was his lawyer.
Yeah. And then he set up an LLC or something and paid her. And then he claimed it as a legal expense. So that was
that's the reasoning behind it,
right? So out of all of these things that they indicted him for, all those charges, this is the one that everyone's like, this isn't real, right? Like, because it's like kind of like trying to make something out of nothing. But I feel like he wanted to go into office with having no felony conviction.
Yeah,
right.
Do you think it was like a judge's like personal like vendetta? Like, just wanted him to have something, even though there's no outcome from it. Do you think it was like a?
I don't know. I feel like it's more so just trying to be like nobody's.
It's kind of a BS charge to have no repercussions.
Yeah,
it's nothing.
Yeah, it's like. I feel like these guys tried everything to keep this guy out of office, tried to put him in jail,
right?
Whatever they could do, right? And now they're just like, at the very least, we're gonna do this.
We're gonna give
You're gonna come in office. You're gonna be a
charge.
felon,
Yeah.
right? It's kind of a win in their book, you know, if you're gonna be that petty, I guess.
Yeah,
But you're still gonna be president.
Yeah, and can't he hypothetically just pardon himself? I don't know how that works.
No, I don't think he can, but I think he said, I mean,
Biden's
maybe
out
you
here.
can-
Maybe the
pardoning
situation never
himself.
presented itself where a president has to pardon.
Yeah,
yeah. I don't know if he can appeal this. I don't think he's not the kind to let this go.
he won't let it go.
Right.
If he has any way of like cleaning up his record, he for sure will.
Mm-hmm.
I read he can't pardon himself
No, he can't pardon himself.
Oh,
because his power doesn't extend to staked crimes. So the governor of New York could pardon him.
Mm.
But he's trying to appeal it, or he's not gonna.
He is going to appeal it.
he will.
Yeah.
And he'll probably like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just, I guess it's just their one little way of getting their win.
Yeah, I mean, it makes great headlines.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He's
That's
a
all it
felon.
is.
Felon.
He's a felon. But it's all old news from
Right.
2016.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? Like nobody, it's not, what is that? It's 2025. Right?
Yeah.
9 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
This was
Everyone's-
his first presidency.
Yeah. I mean, he was saying a lot.
He's
back
saying
then
a
that
lot
people-
of things back
that
then.
people thought were like a little bit out of the,
That's what
norm.
you forget all the nonsense he was saying back then.
But now it's all
he's-
normal.
Yeah.
Somehow in this censorship world, he's allowed to.
He can say whatever he wants.
He's
No, it's
whatever he
because we
wants.
had to deal with Biden, right? Who you had no idea what he was saying.
I don't know. I'm gonna miss the guy. He's so funny.
Who, Biden?
Yeah.
He is funny.
He's like a grandpa who has not everything's not exactly there.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of going through the
He's having a
motions,
fun time,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
Did you see how sour these guys were? At
Where?
the Jimmy Carter's funeral service?
Yeah, I saw bits and pieces of it.
That was like a reality show.
Yeah,
Do we have the clips of those?
yeah, I think so. Who's that? Trump?
Trump.
Was that Pence?
Pence. Yeah.
I think that's Al Gore and Pence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, he stuck out his hand and he pulled it back.
He kind of got the cold shoulder. She didn't shake it. That his wife.
Yeah.
This Mr. Popularity. Everybody liked him.
Everyone's like, oh, maybe Barack. Oh,
She shook his
hey,
hand.
man.
She looks pissed though.
Right?
His wife.
Trump's just like, hey, this was weird.
Right? They
Like
seem like,
boys.
They're like,
I wonder what he's saying. You think
Imagine,
it's like a
like,
bunch
I
of
saw somewhere where somebody said that someone was trying to like lip read,
Mhm.
and they were saying that he's trying to set up a meeting. I
Really?
don't know for what.
Mhm.
Obviously, politically.
Mm.
That's what I was wondering. Somebody's probably, but they're laughing.
I think they're just shooting the shit.
I think
Yeah.
he's literally talking shit to him. Like, I won. You didn't think I'd win again. I got you. Stuff like that. That's what I imagine.
Oh.
And then this guy just gives him a love time.
Yeah, he just walked by
That
him.
was strange.
He looks strong.
That's Bush, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he was so funny. This guy made me laugh too. Like, these guys are at a funeral, man.
They're so happy.
They're just-
But it's
Yeah.
also like they probably haven't seen each other in so long.
Yeah. Look.
But look
He's
at
like,
Bush.
oh, hey.
He just, I swear he does like the finger guns at some point. He like gives somebody the thumbs up.
He's in his own little world.
He's in
He
his
didn't
own-
shake Trump's hand though, eh?
I noticed that.
Look at,
He
He just
walked
keeps
right
smacking
past him.
everybody.
yeah.
Yeah.
Look at Melania.
Yeah.
Pissed.
Yeah, why?
Well, it's a funeral. These guys are way too excited.
right.
But
It's like
Bush was the most excited.
nah, Trump and Obama seem like they're
They seem
cool.
pretty buddy.
planning.
No, I don't think they're planning. Does it seem like you're just kind of like you respect the other person? You're playing the political game, but you're just like, yeah, it is
If we
what it
had
is,
audio here, this is like
It'd be so cool.
it's a reality show, man.
right?
Honestly, I think Obama is just, he's so cool. He's so confident that like,
Everyone always gets up.
yeah.
Do you see Bill?
Yeah.
Oh damn, he aged, bro. Well, look at.
old.
I didn't even see her walk in. They just came and sat down real
They
quick.
came in the other way.
Okay.
Look at Bush. I'm telling you, man.
He's
He's,
just like,
having a
"Hey,
good time.
what's
See?
He's such a
He's here to
good.
have fun.
Oh no.
These two came in too. Obviously, this everyone
yeah.
saw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's pissed. Oh my god.
yeah. Looks like there's a bit of bad blood.
This guy's my favorite. Like, come on, Joe, we gotta go all the way to the front.
He's like this way.
She looks like she's reading his.
He's just like, I want to go there.
Are we supposed to sit in the front?
Oh my god.
Kamala looks like she wants to laugh.
Look, he's like,
oh my god. He's like, where?
Like a slow motion scratch.
Old grandpa.
He's like, oh, the lights are bright.
oh my god.
What is
on,
Bill
Joe.
reading?
Look at Hillary Clinton. Oh my god.
That was good.
Yeah, right?
I'm gonna miss Joe.
That was comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's weird to get all of those people in a room like that.
Yeah. But that was interesting for sure, seeing the dynamics. Seems like Obama's still holding his own amongst them.
I think Obama lost a little bit of credibility during this whole election campaign, but I feel like in a room of politicians, he still garners that respect.
Yeah.
Right? I think people just feel a little bit differently after everything that happened. Not everyone, but a lot of people feel like they don't respect Obama as much as they used to, right? Before.
Yeah.
Right. But
I saw people were making a lot of that, like why he's sitting next to him too. But if you look at it clearly, they're just seating them in succession, like of when they were president.
Yeah.
W's dad wasn't there, obviously.
And Michelle was.
Yeah, that's why he was next to Trump. It's not like he picked that seat.
Yeah.
And I do feel like, even like we were talking about Obama, but I feel like Trump is the kind of guy too who's just going to talk to whoever, right? Like I don't think he's going to be the type to be.
Maybe they're friends.
Yeah.
Or they could
even
be
when they walked in though,
With each other.
Obama didn't shake his hand either, nor did George Bush, Trump's.
Yeah.
He just started talking to him, but maybe they met beforehand.
Yeah.
You can overanalyze the crap out of it.
Yeah. I mean,
Kind of staged a little.
yeah. For sure. It's a big deal though. Obama and Trump in the same room.
Trump made a comment after saying, "Oh, I didn't realize we looked so friendly."
Oh,
Yeah.
saying that like he wasn't being friendly.
I guess maybe.
Is that what he's implying?
That's what it sounded like. That's what he's.
No, I think he's just saying that it's not a big deal. That's what I think he's probably saying. I don't think he's.
Because people obviously did this a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, they're so chummy.
Yeah, just guessing. I'm like he's smiling while he's talking shit. That's what I think.
Yeah. I think so too.
Didn't think I'd win again.
Or a meeting.
Because the reason he became president wasn't it because Obama was like grilling him in that room? Didn't
In the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Yeah,
And he said he wouldn't be
it's
president.
rumored that that's one of the things.
Yeah. I mean, now he's a two-term president.
Two-term president Donald Trump, yo,
Right.
from The Apprentice.
Right? You're fired, guy?
Which, like, you guys remember when the whole campaign was going on and everyone's like, he deserves to win by the end of it, the amount of momentum that Trump had and stuff. And the second, he's not even in office yet. And you have all of this where it's just like he's trying to buy Greenland, this, that, Panama, Canada, 51st state, all
I
that.
mean, he had 4 years to build all that back up. It's not like he was continuous.
Yeah,
Don't forget that.
yeah.
I mean, I at this point, I feel like Canada needs a person like Polyev at this point.
I agree.
I'm not even out here trying to campaign for the guy or anything, but like, come on, man.
I mean,
Somebody with a
it's up to
backbone who
Jagmeet.
just doesn't
There's
just.
also no other option, I think.
I mean, Jagmeet, right?
No, I mean, like, who else is running?
That's the only
Maybe
other
Green Party leader?
Yeah, right. This lady who's like, hey, maybe we'll buy California, Oregon.
They were making
Big plan.
they were making so much fun of her on like Fox and stuff.
Yeah.
It was pretty
She's
mean.
very animated.
But at least she responded.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
I think
she said it before Trudeau even said anything.
I don't think she needed to say anything, right? You have 2 seats in the House.
Nobody needs your opinion.
Nobody needs
She
your
can say
opinion.
whatever she wants.
Yeah, maybe she just wants to offer her.
Maybe
She's
she just
offended by the
wants,
comment.
Out of those two.
maybe
she's
she
proud
wants to get a social media presence.
As we all do.
Right?
Right?
Can we blame her?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to this last story, which in a story in People's Magazine, a woman says she wants to cut off all contact with her mother-in-law after being constantly criticized for her cooking and questioned about when she plans to have children. She adds that her husband's mother purposefully brings up pregnancy and baby names in front of other people just to make me embarrassed, she said, and will routinely criticize the way she dresses and then names she has chosen for her future children. When her husband finally sat down with his mom to discuss her behavior, she started to play the victim with fake tears, saying that I was overreacting and that I couldn't handle jokes because all she was doing was joking with me. Now her husband's brother is set to get married, and the woman says she is reconsidering going to the wedding simply because she doesn't want to be around her mother-in-law.
What the hell?
I mean,
It's a tale as old as time, I guess, right?
Yeah.
right?
Mother-in-law and
So she's mad because the mom is saying that she sucks at cooking,
yeah.
and the mom is saying, when are you going to give me grandchildren?
Typical mother-in-law things.
Or don't you think they're kind of mom things?
Mom things, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
not only just mother-in-law things.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't your own mom just be like, not the cooking thing, right?
Yeah.
But like, as far as grandkids, like,
Yeah.
I'd like to think if my kids were old and I was older, obviously.
I think especially in our culture, not just moms, aunts, cousins.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like, when you having kids.
Everyone has an opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And
These are white people?
I have no clue.
Okay.
It sounds like a typical Indian problem, right?
And like it sounds like an Indian problem. That's what I was
Yeah, but the cooking thing, like maybe your cooking sucks, right?
Oh.
I don't know, man. Like,
Yeah.
if you're gonna be so hurt by what somebody says, then just talk back, right? And this
Yeah.
husband who's you're having a sit down with your mom and your mom's crying because your wife is accusing your mom of saying that her cooking sucks. Like, what kind of childish shit is this?
Yeah. That's
Right?
what I'm
Like, if
saying. It
she
sounds
says
like
your
a
cooking sucks, be
Indian
like, is
drama
yours
or
any better? Done.
Well, there's some sons have different relationships with their mothers, right?
Like mama's boys?
Yeah, like without saying that.
Yeah, you can say that. Some of them are mama's boys, right?
Yeah.
But there's a way. I feel like you gotta have your wife's back, right?
Yeah.
Like, in the same sense, you don't just disrespect. I think as long as you're the kind
There's
of
a
person,
balance that you need.
For
But
sure.
it's hard to know that balance, I think, as a man. I'm not that I know. 'Cause I'm not.
yeah,
Not that difficult.
it's not that hard.
It's easy for me.
Yeah, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. You respect your mother
You respect everyone.
For sure.
always, right? As you would respect your
Yeah.
dad, as you would respect your wife, right? But if your mom is saying some weird, wacky shit, you say, no, mom, don't say that. And if your wife is being disrespectful, be like, hey, that's my mom. I wouldn't be mean to your mom.
Yeah.
Can you not be mean to my mom? Done. Like, how complicated is that?
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's my dad, you know? Like, don't
it's-
be mean
it's
to
the
him.
Yeah, but it's like then you say that, and in this particular situation, the mom's like, I'm not mean to her, and starts crying, and then you start feeling bad for your mom.
No, you wouldn't. Because
You wouldn't.
Yeah.
But like some people would.
okay, then don't you think that's a relationship problem? Because the
Yeah.
husband doesn't believe the wife. She's like, oh, hold on, you know, or maybe the wife's a liar,
We don't know the full story here.
right? What if the wife is just out here lying, and the mom doesn't say anything like she's claiming?
Yeah.
But I think the point of that topic was, would you go to the wedding or not? Right? That's what we were getting at.
Oh yeah,
So she's not gonna go to the brother's
She's
wedding,
debating going to her brother-in-law's wedding.
brother-in-law, just to not see her mother-in-law.
Yeah, which makes zero sense.
I think if you're at a party, again, I don't know, but Indian parties, there's like 600-700 people at a party. It's pretty easy to avoid one person. It's not that hard.
well, you're gonna have entrances. They're gonna make you sit on the same table. Everyone's gonna be like,
Well,
oh,
you'll be there with your significant other. What does it matter?
yeah. Who thinks that you lie about what?
We don't know that. You made that part up.
That's what it seems like to me. I mean, I don't know. I don't think, I guess it's hard for some men. For me, it's not hard to navigate giving my mom a tremendous amount of respect, also letting my wife know that I have her back. I don't think that's difficult for me whatsoever. Right.
Yeah.
But I think some guys struggle with it because they're mama's boys, maybe because they don't want to be like, hey,
Or
don't
people
you ever.
pleasers in general.
Or that. Right. Or it's this situation where,
It's very like culturally based again.
right.
The mama's boy thing. I don't actually know about. I'm assuming other cultures are similar,
It is.
but like
There's a crazy stereotype about Indians too, that they
Indian-
are.
like so. For example, I was watching this show on Netflix called Dubai Bling.
Okay. What the hell is that?
They're in the Middle East, but particularly there's a guy who's like a really big mama's boy.
Yeah.
But like in like Muslim religion, like one of the things they say is your God is under your mother's feet. Like that's just something they say.
Okay.
So their respect for their mother is like next.
Oh, it's like
level.
part of their scripture.
Part of their like everything. So I could imagine they would probably choose their mother over their wife. Like it's just a culture thing, I think. But it just depends who you're talking to.
Well, I feel like in most cultures it is that way. There's the respect for one's mom is
It's pretty high. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think there's a way of not losing respect for your mom, right? But at the same time, like a mom has to realize, like,
It goes both ways.
yeah, like
Mom has
you're
to
not the
do
wife,
some crazy shit.
right? Like the wife is gonna do wife things, and you do mom things,
Right.
right? And like if you even where it gets weird for me is like when it comes to parenting, right? I know they don't even have kids yet. It seems like from what they're saying,
Yeah.
but when it comes to parenting, I feel like that's a husband wife thing, right? And whenever
Nobody else should be involved.
no, I think there's other people like from grandparents, for example. A kid's gonna learn a lot as long as you let the kids have that relationship with the grandparents, right? But if you're gonna let the grandparents be the parent, that's not their job.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm gonna be a grandparent one day. I'm not trying to be parent 2.0.
Yeah.
That's not my job anymore.
Yeah.
Right? My job is to be a grandparent, right?
Yeah.
And as sometimes I feel like
That's the
grandparents
fun job.
Yeah.
You just get to have
But
do the fun stuff.
overstepping happens without sometimes realizing.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah.
Right. And it'll always happen. And then you have conversations and you move on. Right.
Yeah.
You don't just like I hate
You don't
these
draw like a line in the sand.
exactly
I'm not
right.
going.
These people that are like, you know what? I'm putting my foot down and no more.
Because like this person's not thinking now I'm gonna the consequence of that would be like problems with your husband now, problems with your brother-in-law, that whole situation. Like, why would you want to deal with that?
But also on the flip side of it, like the husband's gonna then what? Drag his wife to a party where his wife feels tremendously disrespected and she's gonna be paranoid and be like, oh, everyone's
True, like we don't know
talking
the
about me,
extent,
right?
but it's not just a party; it's his brother's wedding.
People are wacko, man. Like, have some other hobbies or some shit. Like, what are you're over here crying about this shit?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, but that's it for the stories. Let's move on to off topic.
So the first topic for off topic is the wildfires in California.
Yeah. Those crazy.
I'm sure everyone's heard of it. It's been everywhere on social media. It's very devastating, the wildfires in LA. So some stats, it's about 35,000 acres of land. There's multiple fires all over LA. As of now, there's at least 10 deaths. There's over 10,000 buildings destroyed and over 100,000 people that were evacuated. Yeah, so it's a lot of like damage. They're saying it's probably the most costly fire in LA history.
Yeah, I saw videos and pictures of this thing all over the place.
Yeah.
And it's pretty wild, man.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they have fires, but this one looked different.
It looked bad.
Yeah.
It looks like Armageddon. Like
Yeah.
the world's ending, man.
Right.
Even
It looks like some sort of apocalypse.
pictures, like yeah, it looks like apocalypse. That's what I was thinking.
Especially in the Palisades. Like,
Look at all the homes.
yeah.
Burned to rubble, man.
And then
What do
you
these
see
people do? Where do they go?
even that, right? The insurance companies.
There's a
like how
lot
they've
coming
been
out
pulling
about.
Some people didn't have insurance. I read.
Yeah, because they pull out because
Yeah.
insurance gets so expensive
Right.
in California, right? And then insurance companies pull out.
I heard numbers like $50 billion, like that high. Biden said he was going to cover it 100%.
Yeah, I saw
Biden's
that.
not going to be in office when the bill comes.
That's what he said, man.
Yeah.
But
Even-
that's crazy.
Like, because it's so big, it was like 0% containment. They were not able to put out the fire, contain it. So they had so many firefighters, like, and first responders, like, trying to deal with it.
Yeah.
LA even has a program for like their inmates, like incarcerated people, like a fire training program. So people that have like non-violent crimes or obviously like not arson and things like that can volunteer to be part of this program. And then they had like over 900 inmates helping to fight these fires.
Wow.
Because like they don't have enough people because there's so much. But it's like a volunteer basis, so they're only getting paid like between like $5 and $10 per day. But yeah, it's in a lot of wealthy neighborhoods. A lot of like celebrities' houses
So many,
burned
yeah.
down.
Yeah.
I saw online even, what's his face? They were on the hills.
Oh, Spencer and Heidi, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, I guess he got 1 million followers now on TikTok. He's like, all it took was my house burning down.
Yeah.
Even
making light of it.
Yeah, I guess you have to.
Mandy Moore and
Man, I
Milo,
saw that.
the guy
too.
that plays, or Milo, the guy that plays Jack in This Is Us. So both of their houses burned down.
Yeah.
And in the show, their house burned down.
Yeah. I saw a clip of him. He's like, it's art imitating life. He's like, this happened in the show and then it happened in real life.
Yeah. I mean, the celebrities, like, I know it sucks for them, but it's the normal people who can't afford.
Yeah.
People are also saying things like that. Like, for example, Mandy Moore, she posted a GoFundMe for her in-laws because their house also got, but it wasn't for her.
Yeah.
But people are like knocking her for that.
Like, why do you need money? Type deal.
Or even like, I'm gonna say her name wrong, but Janae.
That's her favorite thing.
I know, that's why I looked at her. I was like, I'm gonna say it wrong. But so she was just like, I don't have Paris Hilton money because her house also.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are overestimating how much money like certain celebrities have. Like, they're still going through this devastating thing. Their house burned down. Everything they owned is gone.
I mean, me personally, I've never lived in one house. Like, I've never been in one house my entire life. We moved around a lot, even growing up. But imagine being in one house like 30 years or something like that, and the thing burns down. That's a lot. That's heavy, man.
And you never had to leave all your things somewhere.
I've never had to do that.
Taking them with you.
Yeah.
And it's like your house, probably their biggest asset, your cars, all the stuff in your house.
Your children's things.
End of the day, they're all like things. If you get out of there,
They're all material things.
For sure.
And if you're a celebrity, you should have been able to afford some sort of home insurance. That's not probably your only house. Like, hopefully you're not over leveraged, but that's just your only asset.
Yeah.
Right? So like, it's easy for, even though they can, just because we mass consume them on social media, and it's easy to feel sorry for somebody who's going to put their voice out there.
Yeah.
Just for the people that don't have a voice, right? They're going through it a lot harder, right? Like, if that person was already struggling to make their mortgage payments, right? And now they have an uninsured house where they're not going to get full value for the house burned to rubble.
Man,
like,
I've seen clips
screwed.
with people like that too.
Right?
Like, this guy was just like, I saved my whole life for this condo, and they just start crying on camera. It's pretty like.
I saw somebody saying that my parents' house burned down. Like, can somebody please help me? And then AD donated $20,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, so like, I feel like there is people that genuinely will help out in these kind of situations, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, this wildfire thing is very scary in California, right?
Sure.
Like, the right amount of wind, like, this can happen again.
That one clip of Rogan, it was resurfacing.
Right. I saw that making the rounds.
Yeah. He was saying like that's what some firefighter said to him or something like that.
Yeah, it's like
all
a 5-year-old clip, and he's like, if the right wind hits and
he's like,
the embers just flying from roof to roof, he's like, the whole state.
That's kind of what happened.
But it's like scientists and climate activists have been saying this for years, and it's especially in California or in LA, it wasn't just a matter of like, is it going to happen? It's probably when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that people still choose to live there.
That's
like
the other thing.
Are okay with that risk.
Like it was a matter of when will we get a fire that's so big that can't be contained. I don't even know if this, like, hopefully they can contain. They're starting to, some of them, but to my understanding, this is the Palisades, right? Where it happened.
Yeah.
So that's like the hills.
Yeah.
So all rich people, right?
It's
So
a
you're
wealthy neighborhood.
Sorry?
It's a wealthy neighborhood. Yeah.
Right. So you're living there for the view and the climate. Is it worth the trade-off?
I mean, to them, I think you never think that you get this false sense of security that something like this is never going to happen. But I also I saw this one clip of somebody going up to Gavin Newsom, the governor of California.
Yeah.
Did you see her?
Yeah.
She's like, that's my kid's school. It just burned down. What are you going to do? Where's the water? Why don't the fire hydrants have any water? And he tried to do like the politician thing and be like,
he's like, I'm on the phone with Trump right now. She's like, let me listen.
Yeah, she shows it to him. And
he's like, I can't get a hold.
He's like, I can't get a hold. I've been trying, right? And then
you think he's gonna pick up your phone?
But
it wasn't Trump. It was the president.
It did show Canadian planes going to help.
No. He was on the phone with the president saying with Joe Biden, right?
Oh, Trump, sorry.
Yeah, even that, like you have countries like Canada and Mexico willing to help, right? Like, during these kind of times, all of that gets put, that's just politics, right? When this happens, everyone's going to go help, right? Yeah. But at the end of the day, California doesn't have...
Trudeau tweeted about it too.
Yeah, Trudeau's all over social media, like, America,
I'm telling you, the pressure's off.
I think you're right. As soon as the pressure came
pressure's off, man.
Right?
So, like, during the fires, a lot of people are taking advantage of, like, this crisis and looting and robbing a lot of, like, homes and businesses. And there's been, like, a lot of...
I would imagine that.
Yeah, speculation.
What can they get from these burned houses?
That's what I was thinking. It's like, if you're going to rob somewhere where there's fire all around, where are you going to take the stuff that you rob?
It's risky, too.
Yeah. And, like, there's a lot of speculation that people are starting fires in LA, like, because there's so many wildfires all over the place. And there was this one situation where a homeless man in Woodland Hills, he was caught with a propane tank and a blowtorch. Wow. And, like, his neighbors, like, apprehended him and then they called the cops. But he didn't end up being charged with arson because due to lack of probable cause. Yeah. But, like, that's really sad that, like, people are going around and doing this.
I think some people just, for lack of better words, enjoy chaos.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same sort of logic that copycat killers have. Right? So you see something chaotic happening and you're like, hey, let me just try to add to this.
Yeah.
Right? Even those, I've seen so many videos of people just on their bikes and motorcycles and stuff driving through this.
Yeah, just to like record it. And
yeah, which is fine if you're a reporter or whatever, but
it's kind of like tornado chase.
Yeah, you're just kind of in
love it,
right? But it looked like hell on earth.
Yeah. Did you see Biden?
What was he saying?
Did you see that joke he made?
Oh.
Or it wasn't supposed to be.
Vice President, I know you're directly affected, so you fire away. No pun intended.
Indeed. Thank you, Mr. President, and also for the work that everyone around this table.
Wow. I'm gonna miss
oh my God.
Wait, like, come on. Yeah. Joe, come on. Did you see the way, like, Kamala looked at him after?
Yeah.
Are you for real?
But he didn't even know he was saying that, man.
He doesn't know what
he doesn't know what he's
at the time, man.
It's okay.
That's sad. He's president.
Not anymore.
Move on?
Yeah, let's move on next story.
So next story is Allison Holker? Is that how you say her name?
Who is
Twitch.
this?
Remember Steven Twitch? He
the
suicide?
The Roots guy?
Ellen guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ellen.
the DJ on Ellen.
Yeah. So basically,
I thought Jimmy Fallon's.
Oh, okay.
No, Ellen.
Yeah.
She sat down with People Magazine, did an interview. She has a memoir coming out about like her life and about like, but she talked about a lot of details about him. So his mental health struggles, which we all know about, his alleged drug addiction and childhood abuse, again alleged, saying that like when she was preparing for his funeral, like she was going to get like an outfit or whatever, she found a cornucopia of drugs, so mushrooms, pills, other substances that I had to look up on my phone. That was her quote. But basically now she's getting a lot of backlash. So his mom, his brother, they're saying these claims are misleading. They're very hurt by everything she's saying, that she's trying to ruin his legacy. It's very disturbing to hear for her children. Lots of friends and family are calling her classless, opportunistic. And what they're saying is like, so when they had the funeral, she made everybody sign an NDA. And they're like, what was the point of that? That like the mother signed an NDA to go to her son's
funeral.
She made them?
She made
them.
She could
do that?
She made them, yeah.
She made them so she could control the narrative and say whatever she wanted to.
And like that's why people are saying it's just a cash grab for
yeah,
her.
Clearly then.
She's not letting but this is all like alleged, right?
Yeah.
He said, she said. So now they're saying that she doesn't let them see the kids. They have 4 kids. But she's saying her intentions were because she didn't know what was going on and like how much she was dealing with. She wanted to help other people in situations navigate through these red flags or to save another life. That's what she rebutted the claim.
Yeah, but okay.
What I was just thinking, like, how do you think she's in the wrong? What she did by doing this memoir?
The NDA just threw me off.
She moved on, right?
She did
from
move
him,
on, yes.
right?
2 years after he died, she's with somebody now.
She's with
2 years, right?
2 years. It's been 2 years since his death.
It's been 2 years since his death, but like, how quickly did she move on?
I don't know when. Is she just recently, like within like the last month?
Public
or so,
with it?
Went public with it, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean,
But that aside, the memoir. Do you think she shouldn't have done that? She shouldn't have given out his like personal information.
okay, I'm not that familiar with the story, so I can't speak to the.
Just the drug stuff that she's saying. She's kind of like how the mom's reacting. And
In general, I'd like to think if you're married to someone, they're the father of your children.
Yeah.
If something like this happens, if they had a drug problem, that person is no longer around to defend themselves.
Right.
Right. So if you ever love that person, right, you don't make people sign NDAs. You just shut up.
Yeah.
That's just something you swallow. It's fine.
Yeah.
What good is it going to do to the world? You're saying you're helping other people coping with this to save a life, right?
Well, I mean, look at Audrey Plaza. Is that her name? Aubrey.
Yeah.
So like her husband also like
Just recently. Right?
recently.
Yeah.
So
I didn't even know she was married.
yeah. She's I didn't really know much about her, but maybe it was like a situation like that. Like I don't know.
What did her husband do?
He also
committed suicide.
It's crazy how like how many celebrities commit suicide.
yeah
Like recently.
the pressures or
I think suicide's not a joke. I think there are times when people.
because Allison thinks she had no idea. She had no idea he was going through what he was going through. It was like all surprising, the drugs, everything.
Yeah.
I mean, there are things in life that, sorry to cut you off, that will catch you off guard for sure, right? But I'd like to think, like, if it was you, right? Like, we're married.
Look at her platform.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. I don't think what she did was right in terms of like the NDA and stuff. But I'm just thinking platform and like how prevalent suicide is and how important mental health is, that I don't know if she could save. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
For me,
she's saying the memoir is
she has to say that.
It's about, she does have to say that, but she's saying it's about her love for her.
Is it giving her popularity?
It's
Is
giving
it
her
making
money.
her money?
It's making her money.
She's monetizing it.
I
right?
think that part of it alone is just kind of gross, right?
Yeah.
No, but like, why shouldn't she? Like, we're not in her position. We don't know what she's going through. Like, maybe she needs
it could be
money.
her therapy. Oh yeah, there was problems with the will as well. She had to like contest it for a while. I think she couldn't. Whatever.
Yeah,
that's fine. But
like, if you just have to portray this persona in public, like maybe this isn't even real. It's not even true.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, she's making this money to help feed her family. And
She doesn't look like she's having a problem feeding her family.
She's on
Just
the
from
cover
that
of
picture.
People's
She's on. Yeah. To me, sorry to cut you off, but like, when it comes to, I think, valuing a loved one, I think having respect for them, especially when a person's no longer around to defend themselves and they never had a public drug issue, that person now dies and you want to say this shit? Like, to me, if you're making money, yeah, like, why? It's gonna tarnish his legacy.
Majority of his fans don't know about this.
Yeah.
Maybe
even some of his close family is saying that he never had a drug issue. He's just smoked a little bit of weed and
maybe he did or did not, and they had no clue.
Yeah.
Now you're tarnishing their, like, the way
they looked at him.
They looked at
Yeah.
him. They thought he was his.
Like, there's
I
his
do
legacy.
see that side of it too.
If you love the person, why you gotta do that?
Yeah.
Just take
Why gotta
that.
like air their dirty
You know
laundry?
that. Just live with it.
Like,
The
they're not
only
around
reason-
anymore.
If she wasn't gaining financially from it,
There was no way for her to do this and not gain financially.
exactly.
No, like how would she like, give out a memoir, help somebody without? She would get.
She's not helping people. Like, when you write a book, right, and you're like, I'm writing this book to help you.
How do you know she's not helping anyone?
I don't know.
you don't know that.
Do you? I don't know that for certain, but what I do know is that her husband died. The world didn't know of his drug problem. He died, and then she released a book saying that the guy used to do a lot of drugs.
That she didn't know about.
Right? What if she died and he released a book saying that she was a shitty wife? What if people start saying, how shitty of a wife are you, that you had no clue that your husband was doing drugs? Nothing? There was nothing. You couldn't smell his jacket. You didn't know what he was doing. You didn't know who he was texting, when he was coming home, what's going on, when he was grabbing these drugs, where he was doing them. What? You didn't know? You're not going to look at his phone. You're not going to look at text messages, like nothing.
When he died.
Right? So like she's not no innocent person here who's just like, it's easy to say like, I had no clue, right? And just leave that there. He was a drug. The guy is dead, right? Like that's where like, I don't know, right? Like you guys are saying, but I also know like if it was me, you know me pretty well, right? If I started for an hour, if my mood's off for 10 minutes, you're going to be like, babe, what's wrong? Right away. And I'll just be
everybody has a different marriage, and we don't know what their marriage was like. And the biggest thing happened. He shot himself and she didn't know, right? That was a surprise to her. So it can be plausible that she also didn't know about all the drugs. Like maybe he was really good at hiding it.
Think about a celebrity's life though. There's like, they're not together all the time. There's nannies. They're not, you know what I mean? Like they have separate things that they do, their jobs. There could have been a way she didn't know.
For me, the second I heard NDA, I'm like, she had a plan in motion.
No, okay. Yeah. So even if she didn't know, right? If you guys want to believe that side of it, right? You're saying that it's okay that she didn't know? You're saying
no. So I don't think it's so particularly my marriage situation. I would. It's too private of a situation that if that was even our situation, no one would know about it, even if something had happened like that. So I don't agree with that part of it. But that's particular to my situation. We're not celebrities. We don't have a platform. We're not going to help anybody by making a memoir about that. So that's why I'm saying it's different. Like I
think people justify their actions a lot all the time, especially when it comes to monetary gain. I think it's something very normal and they do it all the time, right? And I think if somebody's not here to defend their name and they were married to you and they committed suicide and the whole world's shocked about it, the last thing you do is write a book about it.
Even if it's going to help your children.
No, don't. Because that dad's going to grow up saying my dad had a drug problem instead of being like, my dad used to play with me when I was 3.
For me, it's like what do you? It's a memoir. She signed up, his family signed a bunch of NDAs. If it's a money grab, that's fine. You don't have to justify it as self-help or help.
Yeah, that's the disgusting part of it to me, right? If you want to write this, write it, and then let the chips fall where they may. Consequences of your actions, right? Like if you're gonna try to also be like, listen, man, I'm doing this to help the world. No, you're not. No, you're not.
This is his mom, by the way.
What was that NDA for? Like they can't talk about it after the funeral? Like anything about it?
They can't talk about what's going on it was just specifically for the funeral. Yeah.
That's weird.
Sad story for sure. Yeah. I don't think it's up to anyone who they want to believe. To me, it's just weird to speak ill of the dead if you're not there to defend your name. Exactly. Especially if that's somebody you care about.
Skip Bayless.
I heard about Skip.
So this guy.
Yeah.
Basically, he's there's a lawsuit against him now. His hairdresser, Nosheen Faraji, claims that he offered her 1.5 mil to sleep with him. And just for reference, this is her.
Oh no.
Okay.
Yeah. This is also her, the one.
Okay.
Yeah. So 1.5 mil. That's pretty.
It's a lot of money.
So
right?
Stephen A. Smith had something to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like, so quote, here's what I would tell you. I've known Skip for over 25 years and I can't imagine it. So he said he's not capable of that, especially when they brought up the 1.5 mil. The Skip Bayless I know has a hard time giving away $15. He's one of the cheapest people I know.
Okay.
That's what he has.
Yeah, 1.5 mil?
I mean,
yeah, it's pretty steep.
Out of curiosity, what's his net worth? I feel like he wasn't a player or anything. I would guess somewhere around $20-30 million, right? Like this guy's not worth
feel like he signed
hundreds of millions of dollars or anything, right?
17 mil.
There you go, right? So you're telling me that this guy's gonna give away
1.5,
right?
1.5
That's
for one night,
right? I mean, I don't know.
That just makes it seem like I don't believe that right away. 1.5 mil. Like, even if you're the girl and you.
What about his character? But what was he like? Does he come off as creepy?
Creepy?
I mean, it depends on what lens
there was
you're.
like other things involved where he would, after like the haircut or whatever, he would give her a lengthy hug and press himself against
Oh my
her.
God.
Yeah, there's a lot more detail.
Yeah.
So
the lawsuit.
I think a lot of this, I heard that ESPN, like that's where all this stuff happened, right? Or was this on Fox?
Fox.
This was on Fox, right? But apparently there's this whole culture where
like a boys club.
Yeah, where this kind of happens on those kind of.
Imagine, but like,
and
all these sports networks are predominantly men, right?
Yeah,
and then they throw a female in there.
And I get all of it, but wouldn't you, especially in the makeup room, wouldn't you make sure that you're not alone with somebody just for this reason?
No, that wouldn't happen ever.
You don't think so?
Makeup artist hired, like you don't know where you're going into. You don't know the situation.
No, not the makeup artist.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, maybe it's just me. I always think somebody has a motive. Like, I'm not super paranoid, but I would be like,
You think he should have had someone?
yeah,
Yeah.
somebody, a producer, somebody, I don't know, an assistant, somebody else is in the room who could be like, no, that's BS.
Yeah.
Right. And I guess like over the course of, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 years, you get careless. But I feel like he's, I don't know. It seems like a wild accusation a little bit. But
the lawsuits against him, against Charlie Dixon, which is a network executive, and also against Joy Taylor, who created a hostile work environment. Like they were all even saying racial slurs against her, saying things like, well, we don't understand what she's saying. Like being pretty racist.
Why though?
Just this is all in the lawsuit.
Like she speaks English, right?
No, obviously, if they don't understand what she's saying, she's not speaking English.
I'm not.
Has an accent.
She probably has an accent. Her name's Nosheen Faraji.
Yeah, I mean, to me, he's always been like a dick, kind of like he comes off as,
for sure.
Right? Like,
he's like a hater, right?
Yeah,
hated on LeBron.
I mean, I think some people could look at him as like
many
arrogant,
hate him. Yeah.
right?
Do you think he would make a joke? Something like that, because that is a lot of money for his net worth.
I don't think you know what the thing is when
amount he would say.
Just because he's like a little bit of an arrogant ass, right? Like that doesn't mean
maybe
that
he's trying to act rich. He's like, I'll give you a mil.
I mean, if realistically, if that's what he wanted to do, I mean, 1.5 million isn't what it's going to cost, right? I'm sure he could find something for
another,
right? And I heard something came up about Shannon Sharp, right? And like people are like, that's just the culture there.
Yeah.
And very quickly, this guy was like, keep my name out of this. I didn't do anything. Like,
yeah.
He's got enough trouble that day, right?
You remember his
some allegations with Shannon Sharp amidst this all, but
was there?
You guys remember
Same
his
person?
video, right? On
Same
IG,
person.
IG Live.
Yeah. Oh, wasn't she saying that she, or somebody was saying that he slept with her? That he slept
he
with her?
did too?
Yeah, and Skip was jealous or something.
Oh my god!
I've heard a lot.
Yeah, people just make things up, right? But none of that's true.
No, it's all a
Yeah.
Should we move on?
Yeah,
sure.
So I have a story about this NICU nurse from Virginia.
Okay.
So like NICU, so premature baby.
Yeah. Okay.
Basically, what was happening was she was charged with intentionally fracturing bones of newborns. Yeah. So there was mysterious injuries to premature newborns over the past few years. There was 7 potential cases. She was only charged for 1. Says that she was fracturing the bone while administering a needle. All the victims were boys. So one of the dads was like, so he quoted like, I could not stop tears from flowing. I have a lot of guilt, a lot of regret, a lot of anger.
Oh my God.
My son was one of her first victims. My son's first emotion was pain. And as a father, that breaks me.
God. How many babies?
7 cases, but it's an ongoing investigation.
Where does she
there
live?
Could be more.
Do you know where they are?
Yeah, Virginia.
Virginia?
Yeah.
Do they have the death penalty?
That
So she was just.
That's not death. Just go.
No, it was
straight
like
to
20 years or 10 years or something.
That's
along those
gross,
lines.
man.
Yeah, so she's only 26.
Yeah.
She's like, and then some of her classmates were
This is
saying
her?
things like she's weird, like.
But all boys,
that's a
right? So
mugshot.
is there
Like, she's
is there
clearly
something that she has
So
against
initially
men?
they
in
were
general?
like they were black boys,
Oh
but
my God.
that went away because
Okay.
two of them were of different races. But initially
Okay.
it was a racial thing.
Yeah.
So okay, I'm not justifying anything because clearly she was charged with something, but I'm just thinking like, so preemie kids are very small. Right? And preemie boys, I would imagine they're very like they move a lot, and it would be very easy for something to happen.
So you're saying maybe she was just battered.
I think she was new. She was
how
bad
many
at her
times?
7. But so okay, when the more I read into it, the more there was other nurses as well that were let go. They were like put on leave, but a lot of them
At
were
the
brought
same
back at the
hospital?
same hospital. So this hospital no longer takes NICU kids.
Yeah, they shouldn't be taking
they
any
shut
kids.
down that
I don't think NICU or kids, period.
They shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because they clearly don't have trained professionals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She hasn't denied it.
Yeah.
She hasn't said she did. There's no plea yet.
Yeah.
I mean,
But I don't know. I was just thinking about like,
Okay.
NICU kids.
Possibly, yeah.
to kids in general, I remember when our daughter was born, when they were doing blood tests, right? They on a newborn, they'll come and they'll check blood through their foot, right?
Their
And-
heel.
Yeah. And when they were doing blood tests, the way that they'll just poke it and then squeeze the heel with it's disheartening to watch.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like as that dad that you were explaining, I can feel like being in his shoes and be like, what the hell are you doing?
And she
right?
was-
Like,
Our daughter was 5 pounds.
yeah, our
Like, I would
normal
imagine
baby,
NICU
right?
kids are
Yeah.
3.
Yeah. So like, I mean, sometimes when somebody's being a little rough,
Or inexperienced.
yeah, you can see it and be like, maybe don't do that. Maybe you should say something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I feel like to me, yeah, that's something that's gross, man.
Yeah.
Like they're babies, man. And is 7 babies that's if that was a
There's
mistake.
picture of like look at the broken bone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So how did they find out that she was doing this?
So so this particular baby had a twin, and one of the twins was doing okay, and then they went to monitor. This one wasn't doing okay, and then when they went and checked, they noticed that. But because I think like I know I'm saying the whole she was an experienced thing, but since there was so many cases,
That's
there's
too
clearly
many.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's very wrong in
And
that
the
situation.
hospital too.
And like imagine like as a new parent, like it's already so like stressful having a kid. Now your kid's in NICU.
That's
like it's
crazy.
even
Look at all these stories about hospitals, right? Like I think was it the one that Simmer was saying last week with the needle in the IV bags?
Yeah.
And then like this guy, her, and even Dr. Death we were talking about.
Yeah.
Like it's scary, man, with what can happen.
Yeah.
How'd you kill?
And like, no, man, just no. Okay, with that, let's move on to the next
Like,
story.
we can move on to something a
Yeah.
more light.
Yeah.
David Dobrik.
Yeah. So do you guys know David Dobrik?
Heard the name, I think. I don't know
We're
who
just
he
gonna look
is.
at his glow up real
He
quick.
is like a YouTuber, and he was making a lot on YouTube. He was
Yeah.
making like vlogs, and he kind of went away after some controversy. But New Year, he put out a new vlog, and he had a whole transformation,
Yeah.
like physical transformation. He worked with this personal trainer, and in 1 year, he got like super ripped. Like
Yeah.
he has like a 6-pack now.
Yeah.
This is the transformation photo.
This guy is like a big deal on YouTube. He has.
What was his controversy? I feel like I know his name for a reason.
I feel like he staged a lot of his videos.
Yeah.
A little bit, and in a couple of them, some guys got hurt. Like in one of them, he told someone to get on like I don't even know what the hell to call it, like a crane in the water or something, and he like fractured his whole eye. And then another one of his people that are in his videos all the time, he had some like sexual assault.
Yeah, basically, like he had a vlog up,
Yeah.
and all these
bunch of
girls
people.
came to the house, and
Yeah.
then you could see in the vlog they like went into a room alone with some guys, I guess.
Yeah.
And later on, these girls came out and said we were too drunk, and this guy basically like
Took advantage of them.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah, so it was like pretty serious, I feel like.
Yeah.
And then he apologized a lot and he kind of took a break from vlogging, but he's still doing a lot of other ventures and he's still like super rich.
Yeah.
So now this is more like a PR thing, you
I
think?
guess. Like
Right?
his comeback, I guess.
Yeah.
Turn it up.
Yeah.
You just
Like,
go ghost for a bit.
Yeah, even the year of training, like he went away on this like month-long vacation where they like visited
all the 8 wonders of the world. It looked sick. It was
the
pretty
vlog
cool.
was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like the guy who helped him lose the weight, it's like his childhood friend. He's kind of been doing this for all of them. Just like he takes them on these little like 12-month or 10-month or 6-month whatever like things, and they go pretty hard and they transform their whole body. Yeah, my thought process, the whole thing is like, if you're that rich, shouldn't you just be in good shape?
Because you have so many resources available to you.
Time as well. One of the biggest ones, right?
And like you could hire a private chef, all these things that normal people can't really do.
Yeah, I think it's more so like the perspective of you don't value the time and the money unless you don't have it.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
The same way somebody can not value the people in your life, like a brother, a wife, a husband, a kid, you know, a parent. It's very easy to not value that. And it's a lot easier for most people, especially kids, to value friends.
Yeah.
Right? And other people that don't mean as much. Why? Because, you know, the people closest to you, they're going to always be there. So I feel like the same thing would happen here, like that you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Like if you have money, you should be healthy. They don't know what it, maybe they're out of touch with what not having money feels like, right?
Yeah.
And not having any time feels like, right? So
Definitely a shifting trend there, though. Like Zuckerberg,
right.
Even the Amazon guy,
Bezos.
Yeah, they're like all jacked. And
Yeah, and then there's Elon.
Then there's Elon. Elon's getting there.
Fluctuates.
Yeah, he looks healthier.
It doesn't seem like, you know, when that whole
He's too busy to give a
stuff
shit.
was going on with him and Zuckerberg, and they were talking about
To
maybe
fight him? Yeah.
MMA fight.
Yeah.
He was on Rogan, and Rogan was like, you know, Zuckerberg actually, like, you know,
He trains.
I don't know what I think he does Muay Thai, and he's just like, yeah, I have a move. It's called a walrus.
Like, I'm gonna sit on
gonna
it.
sit on it. He's like, you can't do anything. I'm gonna sit on it, right? So like,
It's true.
the confidence is there, right? He's taller, and I think he's stronger. I mean, bigger, like
I
more
mean,
weight,
yeah.
but no, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
So the
That
last
would be-
story is just remember the Breaking Bad house? It's on the market.
I heard about this. Yeah.
Did you guys watch Breaking Bad?
I think everyone
Yeah, everyone.
So the house, that Walter White's house in Albuquerque, so the actual owners put it up for sale for $4 million,
Yeah.
which is like 10 times the average price of the house in that neighborhood
Yeah.
usually. But like they just said they're ready to kind of move because like that house just gets so many visitors because people are just so
I think that happens with any of these popular houses, right?
Well, you were saying that they were filming it and they were living there.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know that.
They still lived there while they were
filming.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. Not
wild.
while they're filming.
Yeah, no, but
like they lived
not
there
on
over
shooting days.
Yeah.
Like they were saying she would come by and like bake them cookies and give them cookies to the cast. Kind of cool. You get to watch the
that's not cool.
You get to
That'd
watch
be
the
so
show.
annoying. Imagine when people come see your house when you're trying to sell it.
You
It's
get
the most
annoyed
annoying thing.
when somebody's renovating your house.
Yeah.
Or like,
But you get
know,
to watch the show being made. Such an iconic show. A lot of people
Well,
would put it in their
I'm sure
top
when it was
5.
being made, like they didn't know it was going to be.
They didn't. Yeah.
I'm sure they got
But look at the
financially
house.
compensated, right?
Look at the house.
Yeah, you see
a
$4
very
million house.
average looking house.
In Albuquerque.
All the comps in the area, some of them 350, 320. It's like Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
400K. They're just 10x that.
I mean, Albuquerque is a big city, but I don't think the housing.
I'm
market
intrigued
there
to
is
see if
4
it
million.
ever does sell.
The owners of the house, they've been living there since the 70s. And now they're like, yo, we've had enough. Like they said there's an average of 300 cars that pass by that house
my
every
God.
day.
That's wild.
And people sometimes come and they just throw pizzas on their roof.
Oh my god. Because that's a famous scene.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So they're thinking maybe they'll like turn the house into a museum,
Yeah.
which
I mean, if
would
they
be
can
better,
do
'cause
it,
who would want to live there?
$4 million, man.
Yeah,
it's
pay
like
$4 million and
houses
then
in
live
the same
there.
Postcode or 421,000.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I don't know what kind of like person would buy that. It's different if you're getting like a bigger home or something. You're just buying an average house.
Fan.
Yeah.
Like a really big fan.
Or just someone rich.
I would assume.
Yeah,
Elon
big
Musk.
fan. That's very
Yeah.
rich.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So those are all the stories for off topic. Let's move on to the questions.
Sure.
So I thought today we'll do a question, but then we'll also do one like blind ranking question, which is basically you gotta rank something from 1 to 5 based on best to worst.
Okay.
But you won't know what's
coming
gonna
next.
come
Okay,
next. So we can start with the question. So just thought we can keep it political. Do you think that voting should be mandatory?
Oh wow.
Oh. I don't hate it. Like
Obviously for adults, right?
for an
Over-
adult.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Can't be
everyone
a
that's
toddler.
eligible to vote
Yeah.
should have to vote.
Yeah.
The thing is, how do you enforce that?
How do you enforce it?
I don't know, make it illegal not to.
Yeah.
Like you get penalized?
You get fined. You wouldn't go to jail, you'd get fined. Right? Because a voter turnout's pretty ridiculous just because
so
people
bad.
hate the candidates.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And the way that I would look at it, if you want a realistic consensus of the whole country,
Yeah.
everyone votes.
Yeah, yeah. For sure.
Right.
My thing is, I personally think a lot of the people that don't come out to vote is sheer laziness. Like the
Yeah,
fact
it
that you
is.
have to
It
go
is. It
and
is.
vote.
It is.
I think that has a huge part to do with it. The other thing is like if you make it mandatory, you're like, okay, you can just do it online. Voter fraud.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Voter fraud is massive.
I'm not against it. I would like to see it.
Yeah.
It would give a more like
Yeah.
better representation of the
Yeah,
country
'cause
and where they're at.
Imagine the reverse. Nobody gets a vote, right? Or
Yeah.
there's like more like you got to be a certain income
They
threshold.
though, like remember the COVID shots? They
Yeah.
made everybody, and then everybody ran.
Yeah, that was very easy
Yeah.
for them to be like, you can't go to work.
They're like,
They
unless
can
you
do
get-
it if they want.
If
to.
they can do
wanted
it
to.
very easily.
Yeah. Which,
But that's the thing. Do they want to? They like doing voter fraud. Many
I mean,
would argue.
taking them out of the question, like it kind of takes a little bit of the game out of the political system away, right?
Yeah.
Because I think you can kind of feel the pulse of a country, right? Like right now, Canada's
You can feel it, right?
like hardcore leaning to the right, as is the whole world almost,
Yeah.
right? So if everyone comes out and votes, everyone, you can already see the results. It probably makes elections more predictable,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
But it's a freedom that people fight and die for, democracy,
Yeah.
right? And then there's people that won't vote
Yeah,
because they don't understand the importance of what that freedom is,
for sure.
right? There's countries where you don't have that, right? So, yeah, I think it wouldn't be a bad thing for people to always go out and vote. I would rather be it mandatory than not have a vote at all,
Yeah,
right? But where I always feel weird about these things is the more you give government something, they always turn it into something else,
yeah, yeah.
right?
For sure.
So-
Anytime you give them a little bit of power, they always misuse it. But I guess I would be team. Yeah.
It should be. Yeah. Okay. We'll do the blind ranking. So I thought today we'll do the topic TV shows.
Okay.
So again, I'll give you TV shows one by one.
Are these
You
any
have to
TV
rank
shows?
them 1 to 5.
Okay.
The first one is
I feel like you'd need to know all 5 to rank them.
No.
That's the
whole
game.
Oh,
Yeah.
rank it 1 through 5. So first one is Stranger Things.
Stranger Things.
one is
Are
the
you?
best.
One is the
One
best.
is
Yeah.
5.
Yeah. Are you a big
Oh, you
fan?
don't like it?
Yeah, I'll slot it at
First
5 too.
season, second season, maybe after that.
Well, but like, imagine if she says a whole bunch of shit
She
shows
likes
after this.
Sesame Street.
Right? okay. Okay. 4. You.
It has to be a consensus. So
Yeah. So what do you think?
I'll go 4. I don't love the show. It hasn't been on for so long.
Yeah.
That annoys me about
Yeah.
any show.
Yeah,
It takes so
same.
long. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just 4.
4. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll slot that at 4.
Okay, next, Breaking Bad.
Ooh, that's higher.
Yeah.
2.
What if they say like Game of Thrones? No. What else is better than that?
Better than Breaking Bad?
What's the best of all
I'd say
time?
Breaking Bad 3.
You say 3. She hasn't said a bad one yet.
Yeah,
We only
these are
have
both
5
good.
left.
So if she says a bad one, we gotta throw it into 5 right away.
There's 3 left.
Yeah, I said there's 5 left.
You guys want 2? Whatever. Majority rules.
Yeah, we'll go 2.
I'll go 2. For
Yeah.
Breaking Bad.
Say 3.
Only Murders in the Building.
Oh, that was 2. That's
like
such a
that one.
good show.
Yeah.
You guys love that one.
We love that show.
Yeah.
So that
But I don't know if it has that much of a cult following.
Yeah, I don't know.
No. So then that would be 3.
That'd be 3? Okay. I'm expecting 1's gonna be bad.
We have 5 left too.
Similar
So
one.
would you
We have
stick
5.
this in
You
5?
can't put this in 5.
No, right? 3?
I don't know.
Stranger Things should have been 5.
Okay, this is 3. So we got 2, 3,
Is it like popularity?
4.
What do you mean?
Like who decides?
What?
You
We
do.
do.
This is your
Yeah,
preference.
this is our list. Go.
Next one is Friends.
Oh,
Yeah, she's gonna put it at 1. I feel like there's gonna be something trash, or this is gonna be Game of Thrones.
Fine, you want to put it at 5?
No, because then what if it's Sesame Street? not that we.
But the
hate
way
Sesame.
that it looks
it
like
seems like
adult
they're all
shows.
good shows, but
Well,
that's
what
how
if
she's
it's
gonna trick
Simpsons?
us.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Not trying to.
Well, hold on.
Wait,
Where do
what'd
we
you
put it?
release it?
1 or 5?
It's still deciding.
Okay.
we got
For
to
her, I
have
feel
the
like we
next
gotta
one.
put that 1, right? We're gonna take it at 1.
Well, I
All right, we'll go 1.
Friends is number 1. Okay, and the last one is The Office.
Oh, okay. So there was no bad.
There's no bad
So
show.
what do we have? We have Friends,
That's
Breaking
5.
Bad,
Yeah.
Murders in the Building. What was 4?
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things, and then The Office. Honestly, yeah, obviously, but that list, the only problem I would have with it is probably Office would probably be 2 for me, if I'm being honest.
2?
Yeah, it'd be, or 1 even. Office is pretty sick.
Yeah. Like even
Breaking Bad is
at
good
the
too.
time, Friends is so old. Someone who
Yeah.
watches Stranger Things is I don't think is watching Friends.
For sure.
I think
but it's
you should have went all sitcoms.
it's guys, this is our list.
Okay. I don't hate the list. It's cool.
That's it.
Oh, it's not like there's a
No,
No, there's no right answer.
Yeah,
You understand the game.
game.
That's oh my
Look it
god,
up
so
I'm not
Nice, man.
guessing. This is just your
this is our
preference.
list. Are you good with that list, or would you have changed something?
Like, do you like the list? Are you mad
Oh,
at the
Stranger
list?
Things is 5.
Stranger would, so you're not good with the list. So Stranger Things would be 5.
Yeah.
How would
I
you?
thought it was a cool game. Like that's why I was like, it's like Family Feud.
No.
Okay, what's the answer?
Yeah.
The right answer is you being annoyed with the thing or not. The whole point is like you guessing if like she
that's
said
what you were
something
asking,
like,
if it's
oh my
based on
god, so clear, man.
That's why I was like,
Yeah.
who decides
Okay.
that? So what's the right answer?
Everyone's
Yeah.
doing it online.
Yeah. No, I think it's a great game.
Yeah, it's fun.
I'll do a different topic next time.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
And with that, it's a wrap. Remember, we're not experts on anything, but we research everything, and we encourage you guys to do the same. We'll catch you guys next week.
Take care, everybody.